All right. Trust you guys you're doing well. I know that most of you guys you want me to talk about technical topics that it is strange to talk about, by the way. But since it's my work and my mission, then I should. But probably I will be sharing the knowledge in bites so that I don't sort of probably miss to fulfill some of your requests for those of you that you want me to help you. My name is Andani Humphrey, and Blessings is also my name. And with this question that even don't know where to really start. Uh, Guys have been asking me to talk about how to set up a good relationship and what are the possible challenges that happens to relationships and how do you overcome them. I understand there is a lot of knowledge in the cloud in regards to this topic, and it seems that everybody is venturing into this direction. It seems that everybody is becoming a teacher of romance and love. I don't know. At times I get a moment to read through what they are saying. At some other time I don't have that time and space. But altogether, I can start by saying because of your background differences and because of your background experience, therefore, there is no standard formula to manage love, even to start it. And there is no standard formula to know if somebody loves you or not. Each human being under the sun has its or her own way of dealing with this matter. Therefore, it brings us to a very serious point of agreement, or rather discussion, that you may have a problem that resembles my problem, but the formulas as to which we need, me and you, to solve the problems are different. And as far as love is concerned, there is no two formula, or there is no one formula to solve two love relationship issues, or the same from two different people. I want to challenge a young mind that wants a good relationship and a good marriage. It's all in you. You're born with it. All the characteristics, all the thinking, all the behaviors, all the things that God invested in you. That's all you need. The moment you try to check from the external sources, that's where the problem begins. Actually, most of your relationships are failing because you want to package them as those of your friends. You want demands as those of your friends. You want a man or a woman like that which your friends have, which is not possible in the role of romance. You have to create your own world and create your own story. And that is it, and that's what is required. It's therefore very clear. Trust me, it's very clear. Anything you want, the first point should be anything you want your partner to possess, you must possess it. That's number one. If you want somebody who can pray, you must be prayerful. If you want somebody who can help others, you must become someone who can help others. If you want somebody who is jovial, you must exercise being happy. If you want somebody who is transparent and truthful, you must possess those characteristics. Trust me. It may sound crazy, but the truth of the matter is ignorance leads to all sorts of problems we are facing today. And I don't want majority of you to be victims of these circumstances. You have the whole time on the world to make the right decisions. Just as I was telling somebody yesterday, we were discussing on the same subject, love, and the person is trying to initiate the first love. The person has not dated before, and then he's boldly telling me, I love this guy so much, and I don't want to lose him. Then I was asking, what are the signs of loving somebody so much? Like, what are these that must be done or are being done for us to gauge that somebody loves you so much? And of course, the answers were the obvious answers, like those I can get if I ask you the same question. And the person was like, you know what? The guy sounds faithful, the guy sounds honest, he sounds transparent. And then I was like, how do you detect that somebody is honest and transparent? Then the lady was like, the way he talks to me. That's okay, the way he talks to you. Then I had to underline a few things from that conversation, and of course I had to help this youngster who is just 19 years trying to engage or engulf herself in a relationship. And I was like, you know what? Any learned person can lie. That's the baseline. And any learned person can cook information and make you feel you're in heaven and you're on earth. So it's beyond information. It's beyond what you're being told every day. Somebody can call you 1,000 times a day. Somebody can save you with pretty names. Someone may text you with very definite terms. But the point is, there is something else about dating and love that doesn't have to be physical and visible. There is that surge of feelings, the inner beat of the response from your inner soul. That is engagement. And I want us to talk about it in some later clips. But altogether, what I'm bringing on board is that, of course, let me first of all state what we ran to as a conclusion with this youngster. Of course, I had to mention a few things to her to sharpen her thinking and ensure that she doesn't get herself in a mistake. After digging the story, of course, it was a counseling session, so I can't explore or rather expose everything. But what came to conclusion was the first love is like making a risk. And if you don't bite the right risk, then you are actually interacting with your future ex. Before you venture into any form of the first love, you must be ready. You must have packaged yourself very well, and you must be able to detect the objective of that relationship before even it starts. What most of you avoid to find out, because every love has an agenda, and one member of that relationship knows the agenda. The other one stays in the dark. You want marriage, the other fella wants sex. You want a good home, the other fella wants a lady to pass time with. You want a good, happy ending, the lady wants somebody to hang around with. So you must be able to find the agenda of the relationship before even you engage in hugging, kissing, and all these other relevant things. But altogether, the agenda can be also cooked. And that's what I'm saying, it's very dangerous to date a learned person. And it's also necessary to do so. These guys can really just be crazy liars, I tell you. And they can multitask, they can multiplay you, they can do crazy bad things. And I will tell you how can you avoid this in our later points. The second point, after that you have built the characters you want to see in your partner in you, the second point that is relevant and necessary is for you to trust this person. This is where majority get it wrong. Do you know why? They are limited with information. They are not well equipped. They don't get good exposure. So the angle at which you guys start your first relationship, at most cases you are not well exposed. Therefore, you make the first wrong choice. That's the way it starts. And if you ask young people who are above 18 years, majority of them, they don't get married to their first love. They don't stay long with their first love. And they easily break up. And the obvious reason why they break up is because the person is cheating. You need to know the first source of cheating is because somebody has been exposed to something better than you. That you should underline. People don't cheat on lesser value things. People cheat on more valuable things. And both women and men, they tend to absorb what is good naturally without their control. So your system tends to acknowledge or rather respond to good things without your information, without your knowledge. So when you walk on the streets and you meet somebody more handsome than your mom, you're likely to listen to what the person says, regardless of how much you claim you love your boy or your mom. If you happen to find a lady who is more pretty, more focused, more productive than your lady, you're likely going to listen or rather try and find a way of saying hi to them. It will not or it may not end on love and dating, but that's a rule of nature. People respond to good things. People want good things. People want better things. But because of lack of self-drive and lack of self-motivation, these good things that appears to our lives tend to tilt our attention from where we have centered it in the name of romance and love. And that's the genesis of cheating. So before you think of getting somebody, you must have enough exposure. You must be able to compare notes. You must be able to have a good assessment. And I don't want somebody to misquote me. By assessment, this is what I mean. I don't mean you date many people and then you are like finding out who is the best. That's wrong. Assessment doesn't mean you go on talking to every girl or every man. That's not correct. Assessment means you must be able to interact with people outside the canopy of love and understand behaviors, characters, mindset, intentions of people. This will help you so much when you are making a decision. You will know that if I do this to my guy, these are chances that it will add up. And as I've stated before, what applies to your friend's life doesn't necessarily going to be a mirror image when you are applying it to your life, but it will give you a hint, or it can give you a clue of what you need to do. Then you go and package it into your capacity, into your abilities, and then you also merge it with the characteristics of the person you're dating. And then that's a bitter part of it, that it's a process, it's not an encounter. And tuning a good relationship and a good marriage is a process, and as any other process, you must be very, very careful when you're dealing with them, because you may spill the beans, you may destroy the entire system. So the point that is I'm raising as number 3 is get exposed. Don't choose and then you regret later. But I think I could have waited a bit. Rather, I think I rushed my decision. So you go slow in your decisions. And as usual, you know me, I talk to one person, and that's my mission. And that's how I've confined my mind, that I'm helping one person. So while engaging with the issue of exposure, you will come to realize that there are many people out here. But in most cases, you'll find them dating already, you'll find them in marriages already, and to some, they are depressed and they don't want to think of a man or a woman. Okay, altogether, we'll come to that. Who is the right partner to marry? But altogether, as I take forward, without really losing my focus on the subject, there's something else as the 4th one that you need to consider if you intend to put up a good relationship. You must acknowledge the spiritual angle. I tell you, it's better you get married to somebody who was a child but this person can respect you, this person respects God, this person is spiritual, and this person is transparent and honest, among other good characteristics, than to get married to a virile or a virgin who is a liar, who is not honest, who is not God-fearing, and matters as such. But because people tend to judge us wrongly or correctly, people may not know what exactly we are doing. They see what we do, they don't know what we do. And you see, seeing and knowing, there are two things. So when you see what I do, you must know what I'm doing, because people tend to judge people by how they look like and how they interact with situations. But my first line is, life is spiritual. You may get a very beautiful girl, very beautiful. But this lady, in their lineage, they have a curse. And the curse dictates she cannot stay in a marriage. Or the curse dictates she will not get children. Then here you are, you want to make the world happy, so you do a colorful wedding and matters as such. So in the due course, the lady just becomes rowdy, and then you end up divorcing. You may think it's your mistake, but it may not. Or on the other hand, the curse that dictates she will not get children, so each time she she gets some pregnancy, there is some miscarriage, the baby is born, the baby dies at their tender age. Matters as such are there. These ones, no education under the sun can correct that problem. This is a problem that you must acknowledge the space of God in your life. And if that is impossible, then I tell you, many things will be impossible. You must be able to acknowledge the spiritual anchor of your relationship. You may get a good man, handsome, working class, but this guy, in their lineage, there is a curse. And a curse dictates this man will marry 10 women, or 5. Or rather, they may not have children. So when you get married for 5 years, the guy all of a sudden starts getting married to other women, and because you had a colorful wedding, then you cannot run away from that fact. That's another challenge that's eating many of you people. So you guys, when you meet here on the streets in the name of starting a relationship, and majority of you start in Canvas and elsewhere, no problem. We'll be talking in our later clips the age, the correct age at which, if you strike a relationship, it's likely going to lead to a marriage. But before then, you must understand that at whichever age, even if you started at 15, at 25, at 40, if you don't acknowledge the spiritual anchor of your relationship, then you're likely going to get into a relationship that's going to disturb you terribly, terribly, I tell you. So this thing you guys call cheating, you need to know that it has some spiritual base, a spiritual background. These commotions you have in your relationship and marriages, they have a spiritual origin. Because you go to church and you say you're praying, you say you're a good kid in church, you say you give a lot in church, but you're not breaking the bondages, and you're not running out of the generational problem and the curses, and therefore it becomes a situation when you grow up and when you put family. So it will force you to have somebody at home, but you're not happy. It will force you to have somebody at home, but you're not eating in the same plate, you're not sleeping in the same bed, and even if you do, you're not talking to each other, and of course you are using 2 blankets in the same bed, and you have to pretend to the children that you're okay, but some go out of control, so you shout at each other, children get depressed, and they can't perform well in school, and it goes a long way. They get bitter even when they get married themselves. They will do the same to their families, and that is a bad idea. So as we walk the journey in this channel and ensuring that we are correct and we make the right decisions, That is the fourth point that is very, very sensitive. It's about spiritual well-about of your partner. In this regard, some people want to go and get married to church girls. It can't add up. It can't help. Even if you get married to a church boy. You see, being in church is one thing. Being spiritual is another thing. Serving God as it should is another thing. Knowing things of God is another thing. Serving with the Holy Spirit is another thing. So it's just about, it's not about my boy was a musician, a keyboardist, an usher, chairperson of church. In fact, those ones, majority, they produce the worst type. Do you know why? The enemy fights them more than he fights you. And in regards still to this subject, spiritual angle of your relationship, you need to know that it may not be necessarily the generational curse or the names that your partners have been named after. There is a general tendency of just the enemy winning souls. And you may have a classmate in school, and this classmate is a devil worshiper. Or in their home, they have wrong things. Then they don't like your success story. So they just, do something wrong for you. And you see, when these subjects, love, I know people write a lot about it. I know comedy is all over on love. I know TV are so much into this because it attracts viewers and they make money and they do business. The point is, they don't help. They don't help. Even some church preach about love so richly and marriages, but they don't help. You know why? It is not the preach, it's not the message I'm sharing with you. It is your decision. It's your engulfed decision. It's the inner you. It is you. This one, you have to do it yourself. You have to decide that I have to make my life spiritual. This one, no pastor can do that for you. Humphrey can't do that for you. No TV can do that. No YouTube clip can do that for you. Except those who are telling you what I'm saying. That it's your personal responsibility to walk out of this problem and become a great kid. A great kid. You see that? So, you must work out your spiritual understanding. Don't worry. You might be somewhere today. You might be understanding a lot about God. But the moment you say yes to a man, that law will change. The things will start going backward. You might be a spiritual boy, blah, blah, blah. But you get a lady, then the things change. You start doing things, church, absconding church. You start absconding prayers and all this. So we must be very, very careful when you deal with that. The fifth one, that is a point I want us to discuss, which has a mirror image to point number 4. You are all scared about success. And guys want to get married to rich people, people with money, people with resources. And you ask them, they tell you, I don't want another burden in my home. I tell you, if you bite it well, and if you bite it spiritually, this issue of wealth and resources doesn't add up to a good marriage and love. In fact, sometimes it's a crisis and a scandal. I heard some people discussing that they don't want to get married to working class women because when they go to work, people admire them and they are seduced all over. But I think they are being seduced by also men who are married to other women who are at home. So the issue is, then also men should not go to work because they are going to seduce other women at workplace. That is not a solution. There is a level of maturity in love whereby you give your partner freedom. Not any type of freedom, but a regulated freedom. For instance, myself, I don't touch the phone of my girlfriend. And, I do touch, but it doesn't give me any form of threat or insecurity, even to her, if she does it to me. The point is, there is a level of maturity in love that must be must be acknowledged. And there's a volume of freedom that must be acknowledged in a relationship. You get married to a rich girl or a rich guy who is not spiritually fine, who is not in self-control, who is not a visionary, then you are just wasting time. This guy will go on flirting with every woman on the street. This guy will become promiscuous. The car that takes you to church is the same car that is used to make love with other ladies after work. This guy is going to lie to you, is going for seminars, but is going to take some people out. This guy will lie to you that is in town, but is in somebody's house. This lady will lie to you that they are going for a workshop, but is going to let somebody for 1 week. This lady will say, I'm late at work, but this person is somewhere in a dinner meeting with another crush. Wealth makes many things to be possible. Financial stability makes many things to be possible. I don't say we should not be, and I don't say you don't need to reach there. What I'm saying is that while you're there, you must be careful. And the only safety to ensure that you are rich, or rather you have resources, achieve a capacity, and you're not misusing, then you must be a self-person of God. Like, you must be the best kid of God. You must be somebody who respects God so much. That type will survive. But tell me, how do you get this type? Because such type sometimes don't exist. They're supposed to be created. And that should give you an anchor niche of how these things are done, by the way. As a lady or as a man, you will eventually choose somebody. But this somebody you choose, you need to understand that you have to train them to suit a particular level. It's more natural for a man to train the woman to suit their vision. And when you get married to somebody or dating someone, you must suit their vision first as a lady. Then later on, the same man, if he's intelligent, he should help you to pursue your vision. Because I look forward for a relationship that when you seek support from your man, you should say thank you, including serving them with water and actually just helping them get a suit from the wardrobe. I look forward for a relationship that a woman can pray for the man before they leave the house to go to work. A relationship that people can cook together, not pretendingly, but truly love. You see that? But for these levels to go into material, or rather to be real, something must be done. You must be spiritually fit. So don't waste time to go to church to look for a marriage partner. I don't mean they're not there, they're there. But you must be able, first of all, to package yourself as that excellent soul, that excellent thing. When you package yourself as an excellent thing, then you will automatically sort of attract somebody close to you. When you get your partner, do not assume they know everything. Even if they do, you must cross-check and find out if indeed they know everything. And of course, everything may not be the right word. They know a lot of things in regards to what's required for them to settle with you. It's actually also fine and in order to know the agendas of the person you're dating. Because to some, they have a negative agenda. They just want to use you because you're beautiful. Actually, lust is what drives many relationships today. But my wish is actually to nurture you young people. 1, you be self-centered, self-driven, self-focused. 2, you build a good home, good marriages, happy families. 3, you have resources, you're rich, you have wealth. And 4, you go to heaven. That's my mission. And I believe one person who is very keen in these talks, because I talk from the highest level of intelligence, very high, I know. People may not really acknowledge because I don't know which knowledge they share as reference to this, but the point is, I tell people things that must be done, things that I've assessed and things that I know their repercussions and their advantages. So as we take forward, if you're a young fella, probably you are just indulging into this age of I need a partner or a friend. Stop rushing. The feelings are the same for the old and the young. What varies is the style, the environment, the size, and all this. So you must be so clear and so keen and go slow. And go slow. And if I were you, I could start working on my spiritual grounds. I should forget about many things. If you're a student, concentrate on school and spiritual things. If you're working, concentrate on job and spiritual things. If you're already dating, then the two of you, okay, concentrate on your spiritual grounds and the spiritual grounds of your partner. Invest quite a lot of time and energy on that. I look forward to people who can date just for prayers. Date just to do meditation. They can just date just to discuss business. But you see, most of you guys, when you plan for date, what do? You plan for date, you plan for food, you plan for sex. So you converge all your datings to end in bedroom. Even if you'll be on town for food, you'll end up in bedroom before the lady goes home. And that's a bad notion. Even if it's in school, and I see there is a lot of sexual misuse in schools, in campus, that is, in tertiary levels. And you see, you sleep with 10, 20 people, then you come and tell your husband or wife, I only slept with one. Just take care of, at this age, you cannot be that you've not done this. Then you become a liar. A lie is not a virtue of God. So you move far from God. You make the curses in your life to get more power and the generational problems to get more power. So they'll overrule you. You'll never have peace in your marriage. You'll never have peace in your relationship. You'll never, I tell you, no matter how much English you speak, how much Swahili you speak, no matter how many places you've toured in the world, it doesn't matter your history, it doesn't matter the type of car you're driving. If your spiritual angle is not clear, then you're a victim of many things. And these many things will hunt you down, will kill you, will destroy you. Trust me. Your children will be sick. Your children will not understand the diseases where they're coming from. You'll spend a lot of money on hospital bills. You see, you think they're normal things. They're not normal things. It's because you are a good person and you married the wrong fella. And you see, this thing I talk to you, ask those who are married. They'll tell you, you are good. You are good. Actually, you might be good. You might have taken care of yourself very well. But the problem is the person you're committing to be with is a problem. So if you're not spiritually keen, you will concentrate on the romance, the sweethearts, the beauty of the bodies, the physique, and the good bedroom, good mattress, the TVs on the bedroom, the luxury thing. But this soul that is sleeping with you is a demon. Is actually something wrong. Can't you see? These are things I expect media to be telling us, TV and internet and YouTube. But the way they package the mentorship, the counseling, the guidance, it doesn't rhyme. And you see, the danger of having counseling and guidance from a victim, you never get the truth. Because the person will tend to cover mistakes. So they'll be talking with some painting and some sort of avoiding the guilty part of the game. And even if you do all these wrong things, again, you not nurture your kids well. Do you know why? You'll always be guilty because you're telling your children to avoid things you're doing. So if they do, they will win over you because your conscience will tell you also did. So you will not nurture the children well. So you must be somebody who is focused, and you know yourself, and you know what you want, and you chase it. And if God's on your side, nothing will be against you. You will conquer everything under the sun. You don't need to be so rich. You don't need to be so well off. But if your spiritual section is fine, and the spiritual angle of your wife or husband is good, then you are at the liberty of victory. The peace will be there in your marriages. The truthfulness will be, because those are characters of God, and they will be in you, they will be in your wife, they will be in your family, and you're going to tune a better life. But as usual, since you guys you ignore a lot, I know majority ignore information. And when you ignore information, you are actually at risk of facing the game, the consequence. And when you face the music, you will be able to prove these things in a bitter truth. So you rather walk ahead of time and say, I don't want to be a victim of this circumstance. Instead, I want to be a victor. I want to be a victor. And you concentrate your efforts towards making it happen. Alright? You concentrate your efforts towards making it happen. And you pursue these things in one accord, and God will really bless you. So when you're here, you're young, and you find your relationship is having an issue, you better get out of it. And I want also to pass a notice or a warning to some students and youth. Don't stuck to somebody because you have their child. If they don't want you and they have shown you symptoms that they don't want you, you get out. We will talk about this in our next episode. You get out because you're stuck there. They have already shown you they don't need you. The family doesn't need you, and you still want to stuck there because you are insecure. How will my child study, eat, myself? I don't have a job. Forget that. You see, that's lack of intelligence. Forget about that. Step out. Be bold. The world will take care of you. The world will take care of. God will take care of you and your child. There are many people who have adopted many children. There are people who can help you nurture those kids. Alright? The only thing is, after you get out, you must be a good person. You must trace your spiritual grounds, you must trace your mistakes, and you must correct yourself. So the major part of life, it's you and yourself. People around you, they don't wish you good. No matter how much you laugh with them, no matter how much they support you. If you want to prove me correct or wrong, you'll find a mistake or do a mistake. People around you are as good as your enemies, as much as they have the title of being your friends. Including at times the person you trust with your body, you trust with your resources, you trust with everything you have. They may be against you, they may fight you, they may kill you. You must be very, very careful. So at every moment you wake up every morning, know that it's you and your God. Package your day in a manner that it's you and your God. Don't block people from benefiting from you. Don't block people from accessing you. But the point is, have limitations, have gauge meters, have control lines, and let the world be on the other side, and you be on the other side. Be a good kid of God. Serve Him as it should. And your spiritual life matters a lot in every decision you take. I'll be coming in more categorically to talk about this so-called campus love. Because here's where the problem begins. And if we are not keen in future, it is going to be a threat to marry or get married to a campus kid. And if not, most campus children in future, they're going to be single parents and they're going to be victims of many things. So I want you to be good kids, and I want you to remain focused, and I want you to keep winning. And as you study things here, feel free to share with others this knowledge, and feel free to comment and say anything you think about this. Also, if you've not subscribed to this program, because when you subscribe, it becomes easy for you to know if you dropped in a clip. We may not forward the video to you directly, but when you have subscribed, the notice will come to your phone or your gadgets that there's a new clip. And I want us to talk and interact and become friends. And I'll expose my number, and we'll be friends, and we help each, and we go real. I counsel a lot, and I do a lot. I'm a life coach. So as that is done, and as we continue. Now that I teach in the university, I know quite many things. I manage a national mentorship and counseling organization, PMAC, Peer Mentors Association of Kenya. So it gives me a very big space with the youth. So I know exactly what I talk about. And I try as much as I can to be a role model in all I say. So you pray for us as we pray for you. Be friends with us, and everything will be good. This channel is NTS Wisdom TV, and it's a wisdom center, and this is the Journey to Greatness series, and I know we are going to be great and great and great. So stay focused and be a good kid. See you soon as we talk about the campus lab very, very soon, like very soon.